you want to be able to hop onto as many bandwagons as possible sometimes. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying, it's the research thing that you got to do. Find the artists that you know are going to help you move your sound forward. You know what I mean? One of the reasons why you should also do research is because sometimes people collaborate with artists that are very unreliable. To tell you the honest truth, this is something that I've personally experienced. A lot of times what will happen is this, and I'll even just give it the way it was. I had my second single was the second one, right? Hot Property. Hot Property was our second single from, my second single from Necessary Noise was featuring a guy called Young Slugs. Great song, trust me. So, this song was doing really well. Now, a lot of times what used to happen was, or a lot of times what will happen is, when you have a song out, a great song out, and you're featuring somebody on it, people are gonna wanna see you guys perform the song. You know what I mean? You wanna have somebody that's easily accessible to you, reliable, and to give the people that experience, you know what I mean? And I definitely remember performing that song with Young Slugs less than 5 times. It's not because he wasn't reliable, but it's because he was actually not even based in the country. You know what I mean? So it's dope to reach out to artists from different places, but be careful what you make, because that can also lead you know, in a different place now, where now, you know, you have to find yourself performing a song by yourself, and you know what I mean? And then people are like, so where's the homie? Are you guys fighting? And you know how people make up little stories that have nothing to do with anything. So another thing that I would like to stress, especially about the research, and this goes into having meetings, especially when you have people that are paying for your music. People need to, like everything, once again, like I said, we always lead back to the success. The success leads back to, are we making money from this thing? And one of the things that a lot of people need to look into is, if you have a budget and you're trying to get features and people are charging for these features, it might be worth it to really sit down and ask people that are with you, people around you, that is this guy worth paying for this thing? Or should we go pay somebody else that might help us get a better reach, a better push? You get what I'm saying? Sometimes, like I'm saying, sometimes because we're just hip-hop artists, you know a guy that's very popular somewhere and you like his music, you reach out to him and he says, I charge 5,000. You know what I mean? And then you think, okay, he charges 5,000, he's all the way in maybe Zim, or he's all the way in wherever. You know, it's a dope feature. You know what I mean? It's a dope feature if it could happen. But then you gotta think about it. We paid this guy $5K, how much can we do with the song? Because we need the return on investment. You know what I mean? So a lot of times it's about, what can we do with this budget that's really gonna help us make this thing happen the right way? Okay. I think that was my third point. Fourth point on the creation of an album. I think one of the things that I came to realize is it's also very important to figure out what type of album you're trying to make. I categorize this into 2 things, and it's not those other ones that I spoke about earlier. You have what I deem as headphone music, and then you have what I deem as performance music. Now, what happens is, with performance music, and I'm trying to think of the artists that I want to give with this without sounding too controversial. There's guys who make music that, well, albums that you can tell, and I don't know if everybody can tell this, but personally I feel like there's albums that you can tell have, you know, like a thread put through it. Like, you know, like from the first track to the last track, it was well thought out, everything kind of sinks in together. You know what I mean? Because there's either a story being told or something like that. I kind of call those albums headphone music. You know what I mean? The idea is for you to sit down, listen to the thing from where it started to where it ends. Then you have what I call performance music albums, which these I personally feel are, I would sort of call them playlists. You know when you put together like performance music back to back to back to back to back. There's no particular way of putting the album together. There's no thread going through it. There's no conciseness, if that's the word. There's just, the idea is every single track needs to be able to be performed. You know what I mean? And once again, it's always about which audience are you going for? You know what I mean? If you're trying to go for, are you trying to go for the headphone music type of people? Sit here, mic, everybody's chill, everybody's calm, that type of thing? Or are you trying to go, are we trying to do festivals? You know what I mean? So this is, once again, like I'm saying, this is where now the research has to come in. You have to figure out what type of music you're trying to make. You know what I mean? Because that's going to determine a lot of things. Like I said, it's going to determine the producers, it's going to determine the features. And you might not want to call a Chubb Heights, you might want to call a Franco. Because Franco performs where Franco performs, and you want to go perform with Franco. You guys should do a feature with Franco. Okay, next point was number 5 on the creation of the album. One of the most important things, one of the really important things that I feel artists should do, and artists don't do a lot these days, is invite as many different thought leaders of your genre or of the industry that you're in to come and take a listen to what you're doing. There's a lot of times we spend too much time in the studio building our little thing, thinking that this thing is super dope. And because you have so many yes men around you, unfortunately, these people don't actually tell you that this is, you know what I mean? And maybe it's not even like they don't think it's dope. Because, you know, you have friends that you spend a lot of time with, you guys share music, you probably like the same exact things. So you probably can't even tell that this thing lacks diversity in a way. You know what I mean? So it's important, you know, to befriend the radio presenters, the publishers, you know what I mean, the producers from different places. Bring them in, help, let them listen to what you got going on. Promoters, talk to these promoters, guys. You know what I mean? The idea is get as many people that are out there pushing in the same field that you're in, to take a listen to what you're doing. Because one way or another, whether they go out there and start speaking about you, the awareness has been created. You know what I mean? And you've gotten feedback on whether or not this promoter feels like, yeah, one day I'll book you for this thing. You know what I mean? A lot of times you may not get the answers that you want, but it's still okay. At least you got some sort of feedback. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I feel like, because I remember we did it with a couple of people. I remember Goof came to listen to our album. We had a Slight. Yeah, we had a lot of different people. We had some DJs come in. DJs are very important. That's another thing. You know what I mean? These are the people that play your music out there. So get these DJs to listen to your music. I don't even know if there's a lot of young DJs right now in the space. You know, I'm hoping that I'm seeing a lot of young homies out here. I hope there's a lot of young DJs out here that I like. Because those are the guys you guys need to play your music. You know what I mean? So get those guys in, because another thing, people are very egotistic in this game. So sometimes when you get a guy to come in and he takes a listen to your thing and he gives you some sort of advice, he walks out of there feeling like, yeah, you know, guys should ask me. Guys should ask me about this thing. And then when they go out there, you know, they hold on to that little bit of gratitude that you call them in to take a listen to something. It's important to people, you know what I mean? And that little thing can pay you back in future. Where we at? Okay. Number six on the list of creating music, I said try to frequent as many places as possible. If you're an artist, and I got the saying from I think I got the saying from Donald Trump. It was not Donald Trump. It was definitely not Donald Trump. It was somebody. It was I'm into business as well, so I watch a lot of business seminars. But I remember somebody, and you guys may have heard it, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was just basically somebody saying, if you're embarrassed to show people, or if you're embarrassed to look, you know, low and dirty and ashamed of the hustle that you're into, you're not ready to be a success. You know what I mean? And my thing about that is, it's very important to be out there and let as many people that are out there, no matter who it is, let these people know what you're into, what you're trying to achieve. You know what I mean? You may look crazy, but it's very important. One important thing I will say to, I hope you guys are like aspiring artists. One thing that this man here said to me a few years back, and this was like, I think it was just around the time that we dropped. This was 2013. The first question he asked me was, he said, how long have you been living on your street? And I was like, a couple of years. He was like, so you know all the neighbors? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, how many of your neighbors know that you're an actual rapper? And I was like, a couple. And he was like, why? And I was like, well, no, I mean, I think they're probably saying, he was like, why haven't you gone to them to tell them who you are, what you do? You have an album out, have you even tried to sell it to your actual neighbor? And I was like, no. And he was like, that's where it's supposed to start. You're supposed to start with the people right next to you. You know what I mean? That's how you're supposed to grow it. And that's the one thing I always ask aspiring artists who come to me. First thing I ask them, how many people in your life actually know that you rap and you're trying to take this thing seriously? You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, unfortunately, because of the country that we're in, we're still kind of evolving, especially in terms of mindset and how seriously like people are taking the arts, especially like parents from back in the days. This thing is just deemed as a passing thing, like you're going through your phase as a kid. So nobody thinks that you're going to be trying to make music for the next 20 years. You're going to try and feed your family. You know what I mean? Nobody thinks that. So, like I'm saying, it's very important. Make sure that everybody knows that you're trying to do this thing. Because if you're still embarrassed to go tell, to walk up to your pastor and say, yo, pastor, I rap. So maybe next week's offering you guys can. Just a suggestion. Because they make a lot of money over there. I mean, what's a couple of, a box of CDs? If you guys are still making CDs. Do you guys know what CDs are? Oh my God. We have people that don't know CDs here. Hey man, don't be ashamed to not know CDs, man. It's okay. It is okay. This brother spins vinyls. Do you know what vinyls are?
Yeah, I know what those are.
Yeah, look at my man's over there. He's kind of like, tell us what vinyls are. Okay, sorry, moving on. 7th point on the creation of music. Make sure that everything, every little bit of music, every little bit of anything that you create is registered the right way, guys. This is super important. This is something that I think you guys need to pay attention when that gentleman jumps on, because he's going to say a lot of it. You know what I mean? I would list a lot of the things, but it really all just boils down to everybody getting paid the right way and everybody owning what they need to own. You know what I mean? We have a super pandemic of artists that just make music and don't think about the consequence of what's going to happen after. You know what I mean? We have this thing happening now called piano music, where guys will jump on a song, you know what I mean? And then later they cry that they don't make money. But they've been on 10 different songs. Guys, a song has to be split into 10 different people. Like, think about that. When you jump in a studio and you find 9 other people on a song, don't jump on that song and start crying later. Because your share of that song is going to be so minimal. Like, it makes no point, you know what I mean? But once again, like I'm saying, this all comes back to research, man. Like, all this information is actually online, funny enough. It's everywhere, it's free. But nobody wants to take it seriously. And the thing is, it's nice being a cool guy now, rapping now, you know what I mean? But yeah, later it sucks when we've heard you on radio a lot, but you have nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? So please make sure, whether it's royalty associations, whether it's really, like I'm saying, there's a bunch of them, but I hope my brother there will just list them, because he is always, like, wherever we have conversations, he's always doing that. Anyway, number 8. And yeah, this is probably, I would say, one of the last ones. Okay, number 8. Do I really think this is important? No, it's not. Leave that. No, I think I'm gonna wrap up with this one. This is another piece of advice. Now, this is also another piece of advice that I came to realize, and this was actually just leading to what I was saying before about about the thing about features. Try to make sure that you have more than 3 singles that you're going to put out that you can perform by yourself. Okay, that's very important. This thing where you, like I'm saying, having a lot of people in the studio with you, it's nice, you know what I mean? But next thing you create a super banger that's on your album, and you have 3 other people that you have to be on stage with. Once again, like I'm saying, it's very important to be able to perform music for your fans, you know what I mean? So one thing I like about what the homies told me was try to have as many singles that you can do by yourself, you know what I mean? And my trick had always been this: when I have a guy on a song, you get the middle verse, I get the other 2 verses. That's the trick. Do that. Then at least you can perform the song a little bit longer.
What's the trick?
Have more than 1 verse on the song. Yeah. And try to do the chorus as well. That works too. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the packaging now. Second part, the packaging of a successful album, or at least what I deem would be a successful album. One of the things that we did with the time when we did a photo shoot, the first thing I always said was, make sure you have an album cover photo shoot. A proper photo shoot for the album cover. Don't go get the pictures we already see on Facebook or anywhere else. I know that there's a new trend. You know, there's a new trend now. Prince, I don't know if you've seen this. So there's a new trend now that a lot of youngsters go get like the pictures from like the album pictures, or maybe when they were baby pictures. So that's a new thing that people are doing now. Yeah, that kind of works. It works, but you want to have a photo shoot. A professional photo shoot. Get makeup, get all the, everything. Try about, excuse me?
For media releases.
Thank you. That is one of the main things. It's for future purposes, which media releases are part of those things. You want to have good high res, guys, high resolution. This word is very important. High resolution. The pictures must be high resolution, okay? Yeah, because once you try and enlarge the pics, they come out very, what's the word? Is it pixelated? Yeah, you don't want those kinds of pictures, so you want high-res pictures. So whatever you do, always have a photo shoot, have pics that are very high resolution. There's times when it might look like you're using pics from the same shoot, it's whatever. Rather have good pictures out than snacks pictures. Because another thing that happens is a lot of the media people in this country, sometimes when something happens to you, like maybe you got jumped by people, not that you're gonna get jumped by anybody, my guy, but they might decide to put a tabloid story about you, and then they go straight to Google, because they can't ask you, send us a picture of yourself, we heard you got beat up. So they're gonna ask you, they're just gonna go straight to Google, research, and then the first picture they find, they put that picture out. You get me? So rather they put up a really nice picture of you when you are not beat up. Yeah, talking about when you did get beat up, and how you're gonna look like that once you're recovered from getting beat up. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. Now, one thing I wanna let you guys, I'd like to give advice, especially on the photo shoot part. When we did my album cover, I learned something along the way that I remember we didn't actually do the time of the album cover. We didn't have a lot of behind the scenes, first of all. And we didn't really do much with the shoot. This is stuff that I learned over time. Now, this is what you guys should do. The day you do the photo shoot, okay? And I'm talking to you guys as well. I know some of you guys still want to make music. Fella. I just gotta take shots at you because you're my younger, because you're my little brother. But like I'm saying, the day you do this shoot, make sure you have somebody doing the behind the scenes, all right? You have another camera guy doing behind the scenes. Preferably 2 different people doing behind the scenes. Have one person taking pics, or we call them stills. They call them stills, right? Have one person taking pictures, have another person taking video footage, right? Try to have as many outfits for that shoot as possible. We're trying to cut costs here. So we're trying to do as much in that time as possible, okay? In these different outfits, depending on your status in terms of maybe clothing affiliations and whatnot, try to have maybe local brands that you mess with. Have, one or two of their garments in your outfits, because what's going to happen is a lot of times when people are pushing their things, if they find a really dope picture of you and you're wearing maybe a BK Proctor or you're wearing whatever, chances are they're probably going to take that pic and put it up for themselves as advertising. That helps you push in a way. Make sure that during that shoot you have, I would say, try to make sure you have one of your other songs there. Whether it's just a song or a freestyle or whatever, make sure that at that shoot, you perform one of those freestyles as a video. Like, get footage of you performing that video or that song, okay? And that's gonna serve you in so many different ways, because now you have a freestyle that you shot, you've got media pics, you've got stuff that you can put up on TikTok, you've got, that's basically it, right? Yeah, you can do a lot of other stuff with that stuff, you know what I mean? And at the end, like I'm saying, you've done a lot with that shoot, you know what I mean? And then as time goes on, you can use the pictures for different things. Some will go to the album cover, some you can send as media pics, some you can just put up and, pouting there and ask the ladies that, what you guys think? You know what I mean? And then they comment with heart pictures, but when they see you in public, they ignore you. See? See, you see? See, I know, I'm tapped into these little things that these guys, you know what I mean? Second thing, okay, second point on packaging. DJ packs. There's a thing called a DJ pack, right? Big homie, I got you. There's things called DJ packs, guys, okay. A DJ pack is a folder that contains it has, is it the whole stems? No, not the stems.
Nope.
You have the original song, you have a censored version of the song, you have an a cappella, you have an instrumental. I got it? And you have a DJ extend, thank you. Thank you, my brother. And you have a DJ extend. Now a DJ extend is basically, and tell me if I'm talking out my a DJ extend is basically like the same original song with the intro looped. With a loop. So basically if the intro is 8 bars, you turn the intro into like 16. Yeah, basically. Because DJs like to kind of like intro the song into their mixes and what. It's a whole thing. But just do it because I'm telling you to work. Third thing we have on the packaging, we have press kits. There's a thing called a press kit. Press kit. A press kit is basically another folder that you're going to be sending out to a lot of different bloggers, newspapers, magazines, different places. But it's basically a folder that contains your artist profile. It contains your artist profile, and it contains, I would say, a medley, which is basically like a long version of maybe 5 singles that are on your album. The 5 singles, like the 5 hottest songs. These are basically the songs that you're gonna sell yourself through. You don't have to put the whole song on there. You can put maybe maybe first verse and a hook, you know what I mean? But the idea is to give people an idea of what your album is gonna sound like. You know what I mean? And it's not too long, so people can listen to it quick and just get the gist of what it's gonna sound like and use that. You know what I mean? You take that, you send it around to different people, promoters, magazines, thingies, and basically this is you introducing yourself to the game. You know what I mean? Hit me.
Number 3, on the press kit.
Sorry, okay, yeah, I just want to...
It's a description about the album, what the album is about, the thought process behind the album.
Thank you, a write-up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for that, my brother. Another thing you want to have in there is a write-up. The write-up is also basically, I would say just a description about the album. And it's just, don't make it too long, something brief that even people, if they need to just copy the thing and put it up, somewhere for you as an article. Another thing that I actually forgot is if you do have videos, you want to have the links to your videos also in there. preferably in the profile. You know what I mean? Where we at? Number 4. This goes along with DJ packs, but not really. You might want to have, you want to have, if it's possible, make an attempt to find a DJ who can help you come up with performance versions of your music. All right? Somebody who can help you come up with a set, different types of sets. One thing that we did with Tubbs was we came up with different sets. Sometimes you'll walk up into a spot and you've been booked and maybe they're running bad on time and they only have like 15 minutes for you. And they called you to do a 30 minutes. You should have that 15-minute set that's just gonna kill shit. You're gonna edit the
He says,
I'm sorry.
he says.
But like I'm saying, performance versions are very important, okay? Yeah, so, because DJs mess around with different types of acapellas and things, so some guys know what song they can mix your song with, you know what I mean? Just to make your performance more entertaining and just different from everybody else. You just don't want to have one song after the one. Yes, I don't know your name, but yes, sir. Carl. Yes, Carl, hit me.
Is it possible to use a band instead of a DJ?
A band instead of a DJ? Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say, yeah. Well, you can use both. You can use both, depending on what your artistry works best with, what your music works best with. You know what I mean? Find a band. Find somebody who's a musical director there to break down your songs. That's where now you might have to deal with stems, like you were saying before. You know what I mean? And there's another question. Oh yeah. Chilling, brother. How's it going? Yeah, man.
Now I'm just coming up on the videography thing because I did my own video. So I made it in my video. I had one single and so I did a video. So anybody just want to do it, you just check me out. My number is
Okay. What we're gonna do is, are you in a hurry or are you about to leave? You're gonna be here. Okay, that's why you're gonna keep that information to yourself, brother. Yeah. While I'm here, let me just do me. All right. Yeah, but we have a videographer in the house by the late ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? And
you're talking about press kits, right?
yes, sir.
The tie-in with behind the scenes, the electronic press kit.
Help him with the projection.
Sorry. I don't know if you wanna.
No, electronic press kit.
Okay. Yeah. You were asking about the electronic press kit. Yes, sir.
Because I mean, you were talking about having somebody taking videos.
Having somebody taking
That's
behind the scenes.
with your press kit. Because nowadays, not everybody's going to sit there and want to.
Yeah, and go through
Yeah.
literature and stuff. Yeah.
It's just reminding me because he's a videographer. And electronic press kit goes a long way
Yes, sir.
towards solving a bunch of those problems.
Definitely. Yeah. Sorry, my big homie here was just mentioning that having that behind the scenes footage and access to that behind the scenes footage helps a lot with people, because a lot of people don't want to read now. You know what I mean? So you might want to have, you know what I mean? You might want to have that version. Yeah, like a quick little. The great thing about doing something like that is actually when you're doing behind the scenes, it's also great to have like one of those mini little interviews where you're just standing there and saying some, you know what I mean, introducing yourself, who you are, where you're from and stuff like that, because that's the kind of stuff that makes its rounds. And when that moves around, that's basically doing what the profile would do for you, and it's doing what the album would, the album review would also do at the same time. Yes, my brother Sakin.
It's called an EPK.
It's called an EPK. It's an
Electronic press kit.
electronic press kit. Yes, that's what it's called. EPK, ladies and gentlemen. Look up the acronym EPK.
Electronic kit.
You see? Yeah, you're trying to flex there. No, you were trying to flex. I saw what happened.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on the packaging. I think this is my last point on the packaging. Basically, and I think this will also tie into a lot of the meetings that you might have with people, and if you have people that are running your music as well. Decide which videos you're gonna put out, which videos you're gonna shoot, which ones are we spending what kind of budget on. You know what I mean? That's also a very important thing. We live in an era where you know, people are on social media all the time. Videos are everywhere. That's basically how the music is moving now. You know what I mean? So you always want to have footage. Once again, like I said, from whether it's coming from the genesis of recording in the studio, coming all the way to the photo shoots and all that. Always capture, because that, yeah, yes, sir.
No. In terms of packaging,
Rapid,
very important.
yes, sir.
There's presentation. Okay, we are from the old school CDs.
Yeah,
There's the presentation of the whole packaging,
yeah.
the printing quality.
Yeah.
I will give an example. A couple of years ago, one major big artist had that, that inkjet, the home computer.
Yeah.
And the album cover was just inkjet in a simple $100. You have to also give the consumer the value, like I'm spending $100, but this is nice to print it.
Yeah.
So very important. I know CDs are supposed to be dead, but
Yeah, well, yeah, unfortunately, because we're no longer in the leaflet era and the CD era, but very right about that. Try to make sure that you give, your fans and those who are consuming your music their money's worth. You know what I mean? Thank you for that, my brother. Yes, sir?
Yeah, but to improve quality of everything, even in video industry, you can have a movie, you pay there, and then you find like a failed media company doing one thing. So to improve your quality, find somebody to improve your quality. You can find a movie done like 50 if you watch one, just to improve the quality of that.
Okay. Yeah, my brother there was just interjecting about also make sure that you have great quality when you're doing videos. You know what I mean? The great thing, one thing that I've come to realize, there's so many tricks, especially when you're working with videographers that really know what they're doing. Guys know how to work within people's budgets. You know what I mean? And the great thing about nowadays is we have amazing technology with cell phones. The cell phones that are out now, you know what I mean? You can get all kinds of amazing footage with that. You know what I mean? So work it the best way possible. Work it the best way possible for within the budget, because I'm not gonna lie, this music thing does consume a lot of money. It consumes a lot of money, so you're gonna be in it for the long haul, brother. You know what I mean? I can see you thinking a lot there. It's okay, you should think a lot. All right, then, I'm about to, I think the last one that I'm gonna jump onto is the presentation, which is the rollout of the project. I think basically this one is really just to sum up everything else that I spoke about before. Most of the time, like I think the first one was make sure that, before you drop the album, have the links to everywhere that you're gonna put up the music, know which stores that you're taking the music to. I know the taking it to the music stores is a very, backward thing now, because you guys don't even go buy music at stores, but the links and stuff like that. Have the links ready. Make sure you have these links on every single social media platform that you're on. Guys, if you're a musician, don't forget that you're a musician. Push this thing all the time. Some of you guys have jokes. I know you guys have jokes. Some of you guys are rappers that want to be comedians. You know what I mean? But if you're a rapper, make sure on the bio it stays. That's the first thing up there. Make sure. I know social media has a lot of people doing all kinds of things. Yeah, but make sure the music is very accessible, because we're living in an era where people just want to click and find what they want. The consumer doesn't want to, beat around the bush. I don't want to be told how dope you are. I just want to know where's your stuff. And just to speak on accessibility, I'll tell you one thing that happened a lot to me when I was because I'm from Lobata, so I used to, you could clap. Guys, my town is just known for BNC, so I gotta keep pushing this thing, you know what I mean? We gotta get the name out there. But basically, one thing that used to always happen to me, you come from a small town, you become popular, and people start to see you. When you go home, you run into a lot of young artists that want to become musicians. The first thing they run into you when they say, yo, big homie, if you could just put me on, okay, what are you talking about, put me on? Okay, no, I rap, so I was kind of hoping if you could just jump on something or feature me or whatever, let me hear your music. Then the first thing is, hey, go studio, and I'm like, see, you just missed that opportunity right there. I'll tell you a crazy story that once happened to me. This is 2010, 2 years before I dropped my first album. I'm one of these guys that was very quiet, like a lot of people didn't know I rapped, where I came from. So I start rapping here. I join the homies. I go home one time for a funeral. And a family member of mine, cousin of mine, by the name of Skillis, is schooling in Cape Town. He comes home and we're recording music. Now, he's met a lot of rappers. Everybody in my town knew he was a rapper. He's recording with rappers out there, so they teach him how to make great music. They teach him how to record. So he comes and he's like, we're going to record music, my boy. He comes, we're recording. I have my sessions with him very quietly. He doesn't always have people there, so a lot of people don't know I rap. One time I'm at a funeral, he has told the homies, and he was like a few years older than me. So he's told the bigger homies that, yeah, this guy raps, he's dope, and we're gonna drop music. I'm at this funeral chilling, and one of these guys just out of nowhere just says, hey man, I heard you rap. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I think you told me what you rap, and he's like, I've heard, and then everybody just goes, so where's the music? And I'm like, and you know what the crazy thing was? I actually had the music on me, man. I actually had my music on my phone. I hesitated so crazy, bro. Like my heart has never stopped like that. And then something, and you know, I think what got to me was some guy out of nowhere was just like, dog, you're trying to tell me you rap, man, what you rap and you don't have your music on you? Well, you're not gonna go anywhere. And something was just like, hey, this guy's serious, man. Does he know how dope I am, dog? I whipped that phone out. I shocked everybody. And I'm saying this to say, once again, like I said when I started, if you're too embarrassed, man, to show people what you got, you're not ready to be here, man. You're not ready to be here. Yeah, it's been I've been pushing it. I got to leave, ladies and gentlemen. But basically, man, that was my presentation, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for listening. I don't know if there's any questions that I could attend to real quick. What's up, brother?
Once again, I would like to thank those who were the brains behind this initiative.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for the nuggets. But what I'm trying to appreciate from you is we have since gotten comfortable as a society to see your impact, to see your track, right?
Yes, sir.
And we wait for something, rather unfortunate to happen for us to say, but that was a great man. And we are thankful for his contribution in this space. When Necessary Noise celebrated its 10th anniversary, that gentleman across the room took it upon himself to have that conversation on the platform that we sit on.
Yes, sir.
And my challenge to pretty much everyone who sits in this audience today is, in your little small space, if we could be super intentional in echoing and drumming up the amazing work that has been done in this beautiful republic. Trust me when I tell you this, the narrative would be very different. If we were to celebrate a Chabito, if we were to celebrate an Eddie, if we were to celebrate an IT, if we were able to celebrate Lawrence Kuti, our narrative would be very different.
Yes, sir.
So that's my challenge to pretty
Yes,
much everyone in this audience right here, right now. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind words. And that was me, man. I'm out.
Yo, man, before you out.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me.
No, ladies first.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
This is not here, man.
So, just my question to you, have you ever considered scoring? And if not, can you please just give a brief synopsis about what it is and what it entails? And let's look like Kelly will speak on this later. On the heels of what he was saying, in like appreciating what we have in the country. I work in the film and TV industry.
Oh, nice.
So I think a lot of what we don't have, and I get exposed to people who have worked in different spaces, including Hollywood and all sorts of spaces.
Right.
Sometimes they will say to me, whose music do you have?
Right.
Or who do you know that is not hashtagable that I can try and put onto something, or that,
Oh.
that I can have a conversation with.
Okay.
So I find that even as an actress, I can't even point to 2 or 3 people outside of the people that I know within my school, because I'm not a social person.
Yeah,
So I don't go out at night anymore.
Yeah.
That person, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is to say, how am I sitting here and I don't even know half of the room?
Half of the people that are here.
That has to do partly with my ignorance. One, I'll admit to that. But secondly, my question to you is, how then can we come up with some kind of platform that can allow us to have like something like what the studio has? I don't know if you guys know about it. It's called Kwale.
Quali,
Yeah, so you know, I know he has something like that going
Yeah.
for him in an essay, and big up to him for that.
Yeah.
So I think for us as Botswana, now we're like less globalized, we've got no borders, we've got no excuse but
Yeah.
to create this for ourselves. So yeah.
Just to, yeah, you can clap for that. You can clap for that. I hope you're not trying to answer that. Nah, don't do that. Sorry, guys. Just to speak on the scoring thing. I know we've had. I think we have had not many attempts. I'm not going to say we had a lot of attempts in terms of trying to score. I do know that we did do an attempted SAB thing with a South African brewery thing that we tried to do with another producer that worked with us at a certain point. But that's as far as we will try to do that. You know what I mean? And just in terms of as far as the music has gone, I think playlisting we've done as far as Southern Africa. That would be the most, but mostly essay. Mostly essay in here, you know what I mean? And no. Because my publisher is here, he's going to speak a lot on where else my music has gone, because he wants to let you guys know about everything, you know what I mean? So I don't want to speak about the things that you did for me, my brother, and because you did a lot.
Let me answer that.
I'll let you answer. No, there was another question somewhere else, not yours. Was that a question? Are you sure it's a question, man? Yeah.
It's a question and also an appreciation.
Oh, yeah.
That gentleman, what is his name?
Prince.
Prince.
Yes, sir.
That guy, he likes it.
Okay. All right. Because now I can leave for that. I don't need to be here. You can do that when I'm not here. Prince, your man, Janan. Thank you, guys. Okay. No, just don't leave my keys, bro.
My name is Colin.
Thank you so much, Chabito. I always want to call you Chab Heights. You must reinvent yourself again, eh?
Sir?
We miss Chab Heights.
I got you.
Yeah, this Chabito business. I don't understand
My name
it.
is Colin.
But thank you so much. I think we're starting to catch up a little bit, but we're gonna take our lunch break now, okay? Before we continue into our next phase. Now we've learned a bit about the music. Now we're gonna learn about where will it go? Where is it going, right? And where is it going the right way? And then after that, we're gonna do the end part from the end's perspective. So like, music is for radio. So we're gonna hear from the perspective of radio. Okay? So that's gonna happen in the second phase, and then Mr. Sakele will kind of top it all off with his presentation. Okay, food. We have how many options do we have? We have 4 options. You can have a burger without chips. You can have a hot dog without chips. You can have beef and chips, or you can have Wurst and chips. Unfortunately, if you're vegetarian, we only have chips.
Ouch.
That's our vegetarian option.
Ouch.
Huh? Yeah, add the hot dog. You had the hot dog? Yeah, the hot dog. That's it, hot dog. So, who's for hot dog? Who's for hot dog? Guys, it's food, or else now I'm gonna go and eat. Who's for the hot dog? Nobody. Alright, so hot dogs will eat themselves. The burger? Oh wow, that's a lot of burgers. Okay.
Stay up. Okay.
Yeah, that's burger. If you're for burger, put your hand up, please.
dog. Some,
Hey, hip hop
some
niggas.
just like,
Unique guys, eh?
Bro, we'll be here at night.
that's offensive, baby.
I didn't sleep.
Alright, so that's how many? You know what's gonna happen? Let's keep
I'm like, the burger people, it's like, that's
going. Watch what happens.
Can you have the burger and the beef?
Okay, let's see. Beef.
big. Wait, we didn't say you were like a party.
Okay, so
There are too
that's
many colors on the planet, say. There are too many colors on the planet, say.
okay. Who's got beef?
Just us three. It's crazy.
All right.
I love like burgers and waffles.
And then what's the other one? Who's got the force?
Wait, you said what's
Got force? And you so we got three for force.
Okay, one person is first
Boss and fries.
from burgers to like walls.
So we've got 4 for force. Yeah. And then what's the other one? No, put one. Yeah, we had beef again. Beef is sorted. All right. And who's got chips? Only chips. We don't have vegetarians. Okay. Now you know what you're gonna do, Carl. Now you're gonna count everyone.
I did that too.
And you will count the hands there. I bet you.
You shouldn't forget
Yeah. I bet you there's ghosts up in here. Ghost accounts. Africa. Alright, no, cool. So we can take a break. Unfortunately, the only drink we have is water, so there is a selling point for drinks over there. You can go ahead, purchase your drink. The food is gonna come, and we'll continue. I think, how long do we break for? Hour?
15.
30 minutes? 15 is too little.
30 like long.
30 minutes, yeah?
Can we continue eating?
30. Yeah.
Can you continue eating?
No. You wanna continue while eating? Until the food is actually here. Okay, that's a very good idea. So, Mr. Ike, you are next.
I'm the last person.
No.
But he's not talking about it. He's talking about it.
Okay, you know what? Let's take 5 minutes while I tell this man here
I want
what to do. How much is 5 minutes, Carl?
we walk.
I need time. Okay, so it's 15:15. At 15:20, we're back here. Yeah? Cool.
I'll take it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey yo, Lawrence, they got the skills to guide you. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. Hey yo.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Please, if you're outside, please come back inside and let's take our seats. Oh my goodness, Lord Jesus Christ. Oh no, I'm gonna announce when the food arrives. If it's in 10 minutes, yeah, that's because they're almost done. Yeah, so the food is being prepared. Once everything is ready, so that we can all eat at the same time, isn't it? It's better that way. Say no, just come. Come. Our next speaker is going to come to the stage and tell us the truth about the truth. Yes?
Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good night, have a lovely day. You guys know the song? Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
That was a good one.
Yo, it sounds like a good song. Yo, right, it is a good song. Anyway, Eddie, what am I talking about?
What you do?
Oh, I saw drugs. Yes, my. The problem is that I wear too many hats.
Oh, no, you're not wearing a hat, so how do
That's when you're gonna see the magic, bro. This is a hat.
Okay, but it's a that's like crown. Red like crown.
Oh, I'm a king now. I made it in life. Even when they start respecting me, I'm a king now. I wear too many hats, music-wise. Executive producer, beat maker, rapper.
What? Cyber hacker.
No, I say music, bro. Digital distributor, music publisher, and music business manager. As an artist, you want your music, you want your business to be handled proper. So now, unfortunately, I have to talk about the only aspect that's important in relation to putting out music. The gentleman who just left the platform, the stage, the turf. When you're talking about this, are you showing me like when you're talking about the distribution part? Like you forgot me. The success of Mr. Noise. I'm so proud to talk about it because at the end of the day, the part and puzzle of, like you said, the whole process from recording to packaging to doing everything else, and then the most important part, getting the music registered so as when he plays on SABC on Metro FM, because they used to push a lot. YFM, he was on the top 5 YFM, that bus ride to Joburg to go put the music out there. But I want to say 3 things. He was speaking from the phone. The psychologist was speaking from her book. So I was speaking from my medulla oblongata. It's the one that's responsible with your memory. Straight. Point number 1. Child emphasized something that is very important, that you can talk about publishing without you knowing point number 1. Point number 1 is, why are you making music? That's the most important part. Some people make music because they're depressed. Some people make music because their father was a musician. Some people make music because it's a fun thing to do. Some people make music because it's a calling. And some people think they can make music. Sorry about that, but I'm an uncle, but there's a point where you need to tell somebody like, yeah, man, try something else. Maybe, as long as it's legal, or try something else. Yes, so that's the point number 1. Because a lot of people make music and then they never understood why they make music. And it goes back to what Lisa was saying. Hence why the key word depression comes into the state. Because then they didn't know what they're making music for. So they thought that people will like them the way that they like other people. And unfortunately, they don't like them. Not particularly the music, but them. You can make good music and people don't like it. Fact. Right? So understand why you're making music. And then if you understand why you want to make music, then you have to understand what is a composition, a musical composition. Have